They're unproductive. We need to let them go if we want to move forward.
These people you called past built this company with their sweats, and you think you can fire them? Well, you're done here.
Victor Hale didn't build his company in comfort. He built it in struggle. Long before the glass offices and million-dollar contracts, there was a leaking warehouse, broken machines, and a handful of men who refused to quit. They worked through heat, through hunger, through nights that never seemed to end, not because they were paid well, but because they believed in something. Victor knew every single one of them by name. He knew their families, their struggles, their sacrifices. To him, they weren't employees. They were the reason the company even existed. And as the years passed, that small warehouse became a multi-million-dollar empire. But time doesn't wait. And eventually, Victor had to step away. The company needed new energy, new leadership, and he chose someone he thought he could trust.
Take care of them. They're the reason this place exists.
Ethan didn't build the company, but now he controlled it. Where Victor saw loyalty, Ethan saw inefficiency. Where Victor saw history, Ethan saw outdated systems. To him, the old workers weren't part of the foundation. They were holding the company back, and power has a way of revealing what a person truly values. Within days, meetings began. Closed doors, new policies. The language changed. Restructuring, optimization, cost reduction. Words that sounded professional, but carried consequences. And those consequences were about to fall on the very people who built everything.
We're moving forward, no matter who gets left behind.
Mr. Briggs had been there from the beginning. 27 years of showing up early, leaving late, fixing problems no one else could solve. He trained new staff, kept operations running, and protected the company like it was his own. But loyalty doesn't show up on spreadsheets. And in Ethan's world, if it couldn't be measured, it didn't matter. That morning, Briggs walked into the office like any other day, unaware that everything was about to change.
You're fired.
I thought I still had a place here.
Not anymore.
One name became two, two became five, and before long, entire sections were empty, desks cleared, machines silent. The people who once filled the building with life were gone, and with them went something far more valuable than efficiency. The newer employees noticed it first. The tension, the fear. No one felt safe anymore. Because if loyalty could be erased so easily, then no one was untouchable. The company was still standing, but something inside it was breaking.
If he can fire the old man, Mr. Briggs, then none of us are safe.
I think he's coming.
Miles away, Victor sat in silence. Retirement had been peaceful, but something never felt right. Then the call came, a voice he hadn't heard in years, but would never forget. It wasn't angry, it wasn't loud, it was defeated, and that was worse, because men like Briggs didn't break easily. If he sounded like that, something was very wrong.
He's removing everyone like we meant nothing.
Don't you worry, Briggs. I'll definitely do something about it.
Ethan believed he owned everything, the title, the authority, the decisions. But what he didn't understand was that Victor had built more than just a company. He built protection, hidden within the contract, was something most people would overlook. A single clause, simple, quiet, powerful, the golden share. It didn't control daily operations, but it controlled something far more important, final authority, and Victor still held it.
Sure. I never gave up everything.
Back at the company, Ethan prepared for his final step. The last group of old workers stood before him, men who had given decades of their lives, now reduced to numbers on a report. To Ethan, this was progress, a clean slate, a new beginning. But to everyone else, it felt like the end of something that mattered.
This company doesn't need the past anymore.
And then, just as the moment settled, the door opened, not loudly, not dramatically, but enough to shift the air in the room. Because some presences don't need noise to be felt. Every head turned, and in that moment, everything Ethan believed he controlled began to slip.
I think you're forgetting something.
Confidence turned to confusion, because the man standing at the door was supposed to be gone, retired, finished. But power doesn't disappear. It waits, and now it had returned, not to argue, not to negotiate, but to correct a mistake.
You think you owned everything because I put you in charge. Well, I still hold the final say.
In a single moment, the roles reversed. The man who fired without hesitation now stood without control, because leadership isn't proven in power. It's proven in how you treat people without it. And Ethan had failed that test. completely.
They're unproductive. We need to let them go if we want to move forward.
These people you called past built this company with their sweats, and you think you can fire them? Well, you're done here.
The doors reopened, not just physically, but symbolically. The people who built the company returned, not because they needed the job, but because they were part of something bigger than themselves. And this time, they weren't just workers, they were recognized.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, and just know that his company stands because of you.
Success isn't built alone, and the people who help you rise are not the ones you discard when you reach the top. Because in the end, a company without loyalty is just a structure waiting to fall. Ethan didn't argue. He couldn't. Because for the first time since taking power, he had nothing to stand on. No authority, no control, just the weight of his decisions, and the silence of a room that no longer respected him. The same people he once dismissed now stood where he couldn't reach them, and for the first time, he understood what he had destroyed.
I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was doing what I thought was the best for the company, and I was only trying to fix things.
The company didn't just recover, it breathed again. The halls filled with voices, with familiarity, with trust. The people who built it didn't return for the money. They returned because someone finally reminded them they mattered.
We never left, but bowed. We were just pushed out.
Victor didn't come back to take control. He came back to set things right. Because real leadership isn't about power, it's about responsibility. And the moment you forget the people who built your success is the moment you begin to lose it.
Never forget who helped you rise. Thanks for watching, and do well to subscribe to this channel so we can bring more stories to you. Love you.